Warning, this video contains severe brain rot. It also mentions some pretty messed up topics. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, if you've been on YouTube within the past 5 years or so, you've probably heard of the name Darman. Darman is a YouTube channel that posts quote-unquote inspirational short films that usually teach some kind of moral or lesson. Now, these videos are known for their questionable quality and use of clickbait thumbnails. Like, a lot of these videos just feel like a mix between those bad anti-bullying PSAs you had to watch in elementary and middle school, and like Lifetime original movies. And somehow this strategy worked, because Darman is able to gain millions upon millions of views on his videos that he somehow manages to upload daily despite them being upwards of 20 minutes in length. And because of how successful Darman is, many people have decided to make Darman clone channels. And while these clones have so many weird-ass videos that I could talk about and make videos on, I don't really want to talk about them today. Instead, I want to dig deeper and talk about the craziest, the most extreme, the best of the Darman clone channels. And when you're looking for that, well, you'll find tomorrow's teachings. Now, on surface level, tomorrow's teachings may just look like another Darman-inspired channel. But ooh boy, that is not the case, because they are clearly something special. I mean, while Darman is out here making videos like evil foster care mother mistreats kid and mean girls kick teen out from TikTok group, tomorrow's teachings is coming here out the gate with these J-Station 3 AM challenge levels of crazy ass video titles like White Kid Shamed for His Small Wiener, Girl Gets Cheeks Clapped While Boyfriend Fights War, Evil Dad Throws Baby in Trash, and Karen Hunts Down Mexicans. But you may be thinking, the videos aren't this insane. It's just some form of clickbait, right? Well, how about I show you guys one of their videos just to see how insane this channel can get. So the video starts with this guy, Jacob, and his girlfriend just sitting in bed together. The girlfriend is on her phone and scrolling through her feed until she eventually finds the infamous I Show Speed video. You know, that one. And of course, like any normal, healthy relationship, the girlfriend instantly starts asking about the size of Speed's Lyndon B. Johnson. Now, obviously, this makes the boyfriend uncomfortable. As it should. But I guess out of pressure from this girl, he agrees to let her measure his, hold on, let me just take a look here, his, little Stevie, and, well, I guess she's just not impressed. Also, the background music in this part sounds like something straight out of Left 4 Dead. Like, take a listen. So anyway, Jacob's girlfriend breaks up with him over the fact that his Hebrew national turned out to be a little Vienna sausage, which causes him to be heartbroken and cry in the shower. Anyway, we cut to the next day where Jacob is at school trying out for the basketball team. Also, this guy's still in high school? He looks 23! I mean, Andrew Garfield was 29 when he played a 17-year-old Peter Parker in The Amazing Spider-Man, so who really cares anymore? So he tries out, and then he starts talking to his friend about how the audition went, and he's kind of sad because he didn't get to practice enough last summer, and he thinks that, you know, he's gonna end up being like a bench warmer or something. When out of the blue, the coach and this other kid show up, and they both just start making fun of Jacob for some reason. You know, first they start making fun of his performance during the tryouts then they just start talking about the fact that he's white. And then the coach drops this absolutely insane tidbit.
We should cut him some slack. I already clapped his girl.
What the fuck?
This guy works in a field of education. I don't think he should be dissing students, but more importantly, I don't think he should be doing that with them, considering that there's a 3/4 chance that girl's probably a minor. And even if the girl is 18, it's still wrong, because he's a teacher and she's a student. Like, bro, send this man to federal prison. Send this man to Arkham Asylum. And what's worse is that the coach starts going into detail about this.
Bro, I was hitting it from every position in the book. I had her hypnotized. I had her squirming and everything. She was screaming my name, Miles, Miles, Miles.
Now, this next part of the video is when the video starts to go from pretty good to a cinematic masterpiece. Like, we're talking a Martin Scorsese film here. Shit's on par with The Godfather. I feel like just explaining it wouldn't do it justice. So I'm just gonna let y'all see it for yourself.
Do the shit again, boy. I dare you. Allie loved me. She took this D like a champ. She was sick and tired of your little shrimp. You know what they say, once you go black, you never go back.
Yo, he really got a small wiener?
Of course he does, he's white. All white guys got small meats. I'm kinda curious. Let me see how small it is.
Just a quick recap in case y'all weren't following along. Coach Miles, who is a teacher at this school, goes up to Jacob, who is a student, and he starts making fun of him, and then starts telling him to his face that he did the devil's tango with Jacob's girlfriend, who is also a student, and then he goes up to Jacob and tells him to pull down his pants so he can see his wiener. Now, I've seen enough YouTube poops of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog to know that in this scenario, probably the best course of action is to tell a trusted adult, but I don't think any of those exist in this world. And not even 10 seconds after this whole ordeal, we get probably the greatest line in this entire video.
Hey dog, stop yapping and show us your meat, or I'm gonna crash out.
Not even Mark Twain could write something this profound. So anyway, Jacob, with his life at stake, decides to pull down his pants and show Coach Miles and the other kid just how small his schlong is. And then the kid starts taking photos of it, and starts sharing them around, and eventually we cut to a scene of Jacob on the couch just in shock over the fact that everybody's talking about his willy. And as if this kid's life couldn't get any worse, turns out his sister got kidnapped. And they just never go further into detail. They just say his sister got kidnapped, and then they move on. Like, you think that this would be a key plot point in the video, but no, they just never bring it up again. So anyway, after this major unresolved plot hole, we move on to this story's third act, where we cut to Jacob, now at his lowest point. And Jacob decides that he's going to end it all. He writes a note to his family, and then heads down to a bridge where he's about to jump, when all of a sudden, he crosses paths with a familiar face. It's Coach Miles! You know, the guy who ruined his life and caused Jacob to get so depressed that he wanted to kill himself in the first place? Well, I guess Coach Miles had a redemption arc because he tells Jacob not to jump and attempts to apologize for his actions. And yet he ends up saying, I didn't know I affected you this much. Of course it would have affected him to the point of suicide. You told the kid to his face that he sucked at basketball, that you fucked his girlfriend, and showed the whole world that he had a small dictionary. Jesus, I'm getting too carried away here. Okay, So Coach Miles feels regretful for all the things he does, and confesses that he lied about half the shit that he'd said, telling Jacob that he
did not have sexual relations with that woman.
And that he only went on a date, which is still kinda messed up, because again, he's a teacher and she's a student. And in the biggest twist ending since Avengers Endgame, Coach Miles reveals to not just the audience, but the whole world, that he himself has a small wiener.
And reality is, I have a small wiener too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, eventually, Jacob forgives Coach Miles. Coach Miles posts an apology online and tells the world that he has a small wiener and that he's proud. Well, everything's back to normal. Except for the fact that Jacob's girlfriend Allie runs into them, tries to make fun of him for his small wiener again, and then Coach Miles throws her off the bridge. He what? Oh, and as if that wasn't a crazy enough ending for you, Coach Miles and Jacob sit down on the bridge after just committing murder and start kissing. And so the video ends with Jacob finding new love, even if it's morally questionable, Allie being fucking deceased, and Coach Miles having like 5 or 6 felonies to his name. So, what did this video teach us? Nothing. So that's the average Tomorrow's Teachings video. Boy, what a doozy that was. And would it be shocking to say this is one of the tamer videos they've made? Yeah, because believe me, there are much worse. Like, there's the one that's pretty much the plot to the movie Get Out, except the white family is even more evil, because instead of doing the whole brain transplant thing, the evil doctor, husband, dad guy just straight up turns the protagonist into a white guy. And as if that wasn't bad enough, turns out they're Klan members! Or the other one with the serial killer who has the collection of quote-unquote autistic severed heads. You heard me. Or how about Karen the Mexican hunter? Yeah, this woman sits at the US-Mexico border day in and day out, sniping down anyone or anything she sees for the glory of the US of A. God bless America! Yeah, and it turns out her son's also an evil racist serial killer who kidnaps people and puts them in freezers. Like, what's even the point of this channel? Why are they making these?
What a sick joke!
Like, either they're just another random corporate-run channel that uses the tactic of clickbait to its absolute worst, or maybe it's a complex, multi-layered, satiric critique on the current issues and unjust treatment of others plaguing modern American society. Is this brain rot, or is it brain nourishment? It's probably just one big F you to Darman for treating his workers like shit and underpaying them. You guys know this guy got charged with 13 counts of defrauding the city of Oakland? Anyways, now, originally I thought this was a good place to end the video, but I kept watching more Tomorrow's Teachings videos while writing this out, and I began to notice something. Something that couldn't be avoided. Something that just had to be talked about. And it's that these videos have interconnected lore. So, let's begin the lore. It starts off with Karen Hunts Down Mexicans Part 1. In this video, we're introduced to Karen, we're introduced to what she does, and eventually, at the end, she gets arrested. We then move on to Karen Hunts Down Mexicans Part 2, where we're introduced to her son, Cal. In this video, Cal breaks Karen out of prison, and Cal's dad, who's a cop, eventually arrests both Karen and Cal, sending them to a maximum security prison. It's implied that some point after this, they break out of said prison. However, we don't know if that's true yet, since Karen the Mexican Hunter Part 3 has not come out yet. Also, Black Kid Drowns in Pool is somewhere either before Karen Part 1 or after Karen Part 2, since it says she's on the loose. Beta male watches his girl sleep with a Sigma happens sometime either during or after Karen Part 2, since the final shot shows this guy walking out into the desert and encountering Cal. Next up on the timeline is Evil Dad Throws Baby in Trash, which introduces us to the aliens. The aliens have the power to take on human forms and also mess with people's memories. And well, you know how I said in White Kid Shamed for His Small Wiener that it's never explained how the sister got kidnapped? Well, it turns out it is, because that part got cut out of the video at some point. In the original cut, we get this scene where the sister lets this guy into her house, as it shows us that this guy was on the run from Karen the Mexican Hunter, and also is an alien somehow. In Husband Shares Wife with Black Guy, we see a different alien, who mentions the events of Beta Male watches his girl sleep with a Sigma. It also might contain the tutor from White Kid Shamed for His Small Wiener Part 2, however, it's unclear if that's the same character or just the same actor playing a different character. And speaking of which, the Doctor is another character that's kind of like that. The Doctor appears in numerous Tomorrow's Teachings videos. However, the same actor who plays the Doctor is also the racist KKK guy in the Get Out video. It's unclear if these are the same character. However, I think they are, because of a tidbit mentioned in White Kid Shamed for His Small Wiener Part 2, where the Doctor goes up to Jacob and says, "By the way, if you ever need anything, we have a club," which I assume he's referring to the Klan? This would mean that the Get Out video takes place after Small Wiener Part 2, since we see the Klansman get shot at the end of that one. And Small Wiener Part 2 also has a link to this video, which I'm not going to say the title of because it uses a outdated term for trans people. This video introduces us to Jackie, who might just be the single most overpowered character in the Tomorrow's Teachings universe, as she clearly has some kind of supernatural power that she shows in the fight scene against the priest. Jackie later appears in White Kid Shamed for His Small Wiener Part 2, at the end, where Jacob falls in love with her. And at the end, the narrator tells us that Jacob and Jackie lived a happy life together and had a kid. But when it cuts to this kid, it's the baby from Evil Dad Throws Baby in Trash. And that, my friends, is the Tomorrow's Teachings lore. God, I need a drink. Anyways, I'm Banana Jelly. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like, maybe sharing it with your friends if you want, or if you're really feeling generous, you could hit that subscribe button. I'm going to start uploading a bit more on this channel. I got an update video coming out soon, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.